Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Black with only one Shincho was fun, but a hard run. Let's follow that up with my favorite Pokemon. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Gold with a team of only one Drowzee? You know this one's gonna be brutal. Drowzee is a solo psychic type, mostly just known for being a special defense tank. It's slow, it doesn't hit all that hard with any kind of attack, and his defense isn't anything too special. Our health is alright though, and our special defense is really high. Not only that, but our abilities are Forewarn and Insomnia, so one good ability and one ability that doesn't help us at all. That might make rolling natures pretty slow. By level up, we don't really learn that many good moves. We do get Psychic and Nasty Plot, but that's not until level 40 and 43. Until then, I think that we're relying on Meditate and maybe Headbutt. It's hard to say, our moveset is pretty limited. By TM, there are better moves on the list, but not much. Shadow Ball from Morty will be good. Other than that, I might just learn stuff like Rest or Substitute. I could see Drain Punch being pretty good as well, but only if our attack stat isn't completely horrible. It's not going to be an easy run. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I think that by level 100 I could beat Lance, but there's just no way that we can beat Red at the end of the run. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to beat Blue, but I at least want to try. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Drowzee. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So, right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Drowzee so that we can do the whole run with it. I just leave his name as Drowzee since that's what I would always do growing up. Our nature is mild, so less defense and more special attack. I mean, that makes things like Bite horrible to deal with, but I do think this is one of the better natures that we could get. Plus, we have Insomnia, and that's for sure a better ability between it and Forewarn, so I'm gonna stick with this and hope for the best. Alright, so doing the early game travel, and I have to say, I think a lot of this run is gonna be a mess. The Flying Gym probably won't be too bad, and the Bug Gym might require a little bit of a grind, but again, not too bad. I know they don't use Fury Cutter in this version, so at least I don't need to worry about that, although I think they have U-Turn. But anything past that is probably bad. We're going to be too slow for Headbutt flinches to stop Miltank's rollout at the normal gym, and you know the Ghost Gym is going to be a nightmare considering we're weak to Shadow Ball. Even with our high special defense, it wouldn't shock me if we need to hit level 40 and learn Psychic to win that one. Maybe I'm gonna need to hold on to Meditate for longer than I'd like to, just so I can power up Drain Punch and use it to survive longer in tough fights, although that's not gonna help me in the Ghost Gym. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's do a few of these early gyms and see what happens. So I got to the Flying Gym at level 14, and unlike in Gen 2, his team is actually at a decent level. We had a really hard time with Pidgeotto at first because his Roost was healing him by more than we could hurt him, and we didn't really hit that hard in the first place. But eventually, I managed to get Hypnosis to stick, and we landed a crit while he was asleep. It still took a few hits, but we took him out. I think I'm gonna have to level up quite a bit before that Bug Gym though. I'm just not hitting as hard as I thought I might. Well, here I was thinking the Bug Gym might not be too horrible after I learned Meditate, but he ended up using a bunch of Leers and took us out fast with U-Turn. I'm gonna be honest, it's looking like I'm gonna have to level up a lot before I can win this one because we did awful. Maybe I'll just get a couple of levels then try the rival fight. That one might not be too bad. Well, I figure I could win the rival fight, but I didn't think that we were gonna take literally no damage the whole fight. That was kinda crazy. I still don't think I'm ready for the Bug Gym, and I need to get to level 26 to learn Psybeam, but it's still pretty crazy that the rival fight was so easy. Alright, so these two tries at the Bug Gym were so baffling that I have to show them to you back to back. I hit level 26, and on the first try, we got U-turned for most of our health, one-shot Metapod, then he sent Scyther back in to finish us off with another U-turn. So I obviously thought I couldn't win yet, but I tried again just in case, and this time he wastes his time with Focus Energy and Quick Attack. He easily could have taken us out, and he just picked terrible moves for no reason and lost because of it. The AI must just be really bad early on, because that was crazy. Well, after that is the normal gym, and it was actually really easy. Isn't it weird to think that Miltank is only level 19, and the first gym's Pidgeotto was level 14? How weird is it that across 3 gyms, the max level of their Pokemon only goes up by 5? That Miltank really should be at least level 24 if you ask me. Alright, so we have a rival fight and the Ghost Gym coming up, and I don't really know what to think. I remember earlier I was thinking I might need Psychic for the Ghost Gym, but I'm starting to think I might not. I have a Quick Claw, and Psybeam is doing passable damage, so as long as I go first against Gengar, then it's probably not all that bad. Our rival before that could be hard though. I think it mostly depends on what their AI does. I'll fight a few trainers before I get there, but I don't think that I'm going to need to get much stronger before I stand a chance. Who knows though, maybe Shadow Ball's gonna mess us up worse than I expect. First is our rival, and he only got one hit in on us. We're a little over-leveled for this part, and Psybeam is actually doing a fantastic job of taking them down. Considering we're learning Psychic too, I have a pretty good feeling about this chunk of the run. I thought it was gonna be bad. After that was the Ghost Gym, and I guess I was wrong to worry because it was really easy. Part of it might have been the crit on Gengar, but he wasted time with Mean Look instead of just attacking, and it led to a pretty easy win. That gets us the TM for Shadow Ball, and I figure that I'll be using that before the end of the run. Alright, so we have 3 gyms coming up now. The Fighting, Steel, and Ice gyms. I figure the Fighting gym should be easy with our Psychic moves, but I'm not sure about the other 2. I might want to learn Drain Punch since we have access to that TM now. That should do a decent enough job in the Steel gym, but I still think that our low attack is going to hold us back. Steelix might be a problem. The Ice Gym probably isn't going to be too bad though. Brute forcing that with Psychic is probably going to go fine. Plus, I don't really think that their strong ice moves will do much to us. Then there's a rival fight, but those have been pretty easy so far, so I'm really not that worried. So the Fighting Gym actually did have me pretty worried when we got paralyzed off a Body Slam as soon as Poliwrath came out. I still won on the first try, but we took a lot more damage than I was expecting. I just hope that we're strong enough for the Steel Gym next, because that one's kind of up in the air. So I got to the Steel Gym at level 40, and it took a couple of tries to build up Meditate, but on this try we managed to put the first Magnemite to sleep and get 2 Meditates in so I could sweep the Magnemites with Drain Punch. The problem is that neither of our moves could do almost anything to Steelix, and it very easily 2-shot us with Iron Tail. Well, if we're doing that little damage, then I think we've got a problem, because I know she's got a Hyper Potion to heal with if her health even got low, and we're not going to bypass that range without a crit. I'll go do the Rocket Hideout and try the Ice Gym first. We'll have Nasty Plot by the time we come back, and that might actually make Psychic strong enough to bulldoze them. Alright, so I fought my way through the Rocket Hideout, and of course the Ice Gym is pretty easy. 3 Nasty Plots let our Psychic sweep the whole gym. Although, the speed loss from Icy Wind resulted in us taking quite a bit of damage before the fight was over. Maybe with a combo of Hypnosis and Nasty Plot I can beat the Steel Gym, but I'm still iffy on it. Alright, well, that wasn't so bad. After 4 tries where we got paralyzed early, we had this one where we got 2 Nasty Plots in, Magnemite missed Supersonic, then we easily swept them to get to Steelix, who fell asleep and got 1 shot after we used our last Nasty Plot. I bet that Nasty Plot's gonna let us brute force our way through quite a few otherwise incredibly hard fights. Next is the rival fight. It starts fine with us taking a bit of damage from Golbat, as we used a single Nasty Plot, then one-shot him. Then we had to take another hit from Haunter using Shadow Ball, but then Sneasel's third and is faster than us just like the Haunter was, so we get taken out by Feint Attack. I figure that I can just keep trying this for a while though. We have the Quick Claw, and I think that going first against either Haunter or Sneasel would get us farther into the fight. Alright, so it took several more tries, but as soon as we outsped and one-shot Haunter, we could just hardly win. We still nearly fainted and only got our health back through Drain Punches, but it went pretty well all things considered. This does make me think that the last rival fight and Karen fight are going to be pretty awful though. This run has been very back and forth so far, and I think it's about to get a lot harder. The Dragon Gym is always hard in Heart Gold, and the previous rival fight was a problem, so I'm sure the next one is going to be as well. Then there's the Elite Four, and I think that is going to be pretty difficult, so I think we're going to have to level up a lot pretty soon. Who knows though, maybe the Nasty Plots will make short work of the Dragon Gym. I kinda doubt it, mostly because we're not very fast, and maybe we could outspeed Water Onix so he can't just bite us. I kinda doubt it, because we're not that fast, but maybe we could outspeed Water Onix and he can't bite us. If we can avoid bite, then I bet it won't be too bad. By the way, if you ever want to see these challenge videos early, then go check out the YouTube members page or the Patreon, linked in the description. You can get all kinds of little perks, but I know that the early viewing of these challenges is probably what you're most interested in. Alright, Dragon Gym time. First, it took a few tries to not just get destroyed by Water Onix right away, but on this try, we put it to sleep, used Nasty Plot, then 2-shot it before it could wake up. We still took a ton of damage from that first bite though. Second and third were both Dragonairs, and they were both one-shots. Last, though, is Kingdra, and we went first from Quick Claw and almost knocked it out, just to lose a ton of health to Hydro Pump. The problem is, she was faster on the second round and easily finished us off. We were pretty lucky to even get that far, so I think that it's time that I level up a bit and keep trying. If we could just get the speed advantage on Water Onix, then we could probably safely get a second Nasty Plot and just sweep the whole team. Alright, I try again at level 57. I lost early on a few tries thanks to Hypnosis missing, but on this one I got 2 Nasty Plots, lost a chunk of health to Bite again, took it out and swept the Dragonairs, and then we tanked a Hydro Pump and one-shot Kingdra. See, this is exactly how I expect a lot of these fights to go. As long as I'm faster and can survive a few rounds, I should be able to sweep. So the rival fight starts off pretty well with Sneasel hitting us hard, but we put it to sleep, then just end up one-shotting it with Drain Punch to mostly heal back up, so I guess I didn't need to use Hypnosis. Second is Haunter, who's a one-shot with Psychic, and so is the Golbat right after. The problem is that Magneton is next, and it's not a one-shot, so we get paralyzed with Thunder Wave. We still take it out before we can get hurt though. After that is Typhlosion though, and it's spamming Lava Plume. You wouldn't think that would matter, but thanks to a crit, we ended up fainting. You know, if I just use Hypnosis on Magneton, then I bet I could get past it without getting paralyzed. Then I'd make short work of Typhlosion. Let's try that. Alright, well I guess the Hypnosis didn't matter, because after missing it a few times, we got this one where it hit, but then we crit Drain Punch for a one-shot. Because of that, Typhlosion was pretty easy with Nasty Plot and Psychic, and last is Kadabra, who we easily overpower. That wasn't that bad. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, once again, we've run into an instance where we have a pro special attack nature, and yet our special attack is hardly any higher than our attack. So we probably just have really bad IVs again. That's been happening a lot lately. Really, all I like here is our health and special defense. I don't feel great about this. I think I'm going to replace Hypnosis with Shadow Ball so that we can overpower Will, and I don't think Koga or Bruno will be an issue. But man, Karen is going to be a serious problem. We might just have to Nasty Plot and try to overpower her with Shadow Ball, of all things. Then there's Lance, who we might just sweep with Psychic while holding a Twisted Spoon if we can use Nasty Plot enough. Although I'm sure the Water Onix at the start is going to mess us up. I might need to level up a lot before I can win these fights. Make your final guesses on if we can win or not. Let's do this. First is Psychic Trainer Will. Well, I used Nasty Plot twice, got confused and hit myself 100 times, and then swept through his whole team with Shadow Ball. Now, I know that sounded easy, but because of hitting ourselves so many times, we actually nearly fainted. We ended the fight with only 5 health, so if the damage ranges were slightly different, we absolutely could have lost. Still, first try, and I'm sure if I did lose this one, I could try 1 or 2 more times after and win easily. Second is Poison Trainer Koga. I'm sure you saw this coming though, we just got a couple of Nasty Plots in and then swept his team with no problems. Third is Fighting Trainer Bruno. Well, this was amazing. We didn't get hit a single time because for some reason, the Hitmontop at the start was using Counter 3 times in a row. It let us max out our Nasty Plot easily. Hitmonlee was faster than us and got us with Swagger, but we never hit ourselves, so it was a perfect fight. Fourth is Dark Trainer Karen. Well, I got 2 Nasty Plots in thanks to Umbreon wasting time with Double Team, but then our Shadow Ball still hardly did any damage. Like, it was worse than I thought it would be. I'm sure Drain Punch would do passable damage, but we need Nasty Plot to beat most of our team, and Umbreon has high defense anyway. We're gonna need to level up to win this one for sure. So I get up to level 70 and keep trying. We can do a little bit more damage now and survive a little bit longer, but it's still a really bad situation. Drain Punch hardly even heals us since our attack is so low, and her defense is so high. Triple Nasty Plot Shadow Ball is stronger, but not by a ton. I might be able to win below level 80, but it's hard to say. Yeah, never mind. It took 6 tries before I could get 3 Nasty Plots and 2 Shadow Balls in to take out Umbreon, just for us to get paralyzed off Gengar's Lick. We took it out, and even one-shot the Murkrow right after, but obviously Houndoom destroyed us. If we get paralyzed, then we're absolutely doomed. I'm gonna get to level 80, but I think I'm gonna have to be more like level 85 before we actually win. Level 80, and this one was wild. Umbreon went down quickly to 2 Shadow Balls after our nasty plots, and we took only a bit of damage in the process. And this time, Gengar used Spite, so we just one-shot it no problem. Murkrow hit us incredibly hard with Sucker Punch before we one-shot it, and this time against Houndoom, we hit a huge Drain Punch to heal up. We almost fainted to Crunch, but we survived and finished it off with another Drain Punch. Last is Vileplume, and thanks to us being faster, we could just one-shot it with Psychic. Finally, a win. Alright, finally, Pokemon Champion Lance. First try, and we got 2 nasty plots in against Water Onix as he takes out 2/3 of our health with a couple of waterfalls before we one-shot him. Next is Aerodactyl, who's faster than us, hits Crunch to take us to only 1 health, then we one-shot him too. As soon as we ended up outspeeding and one-shotting Charizard though, I knew we had this in the bag. We ended up faster than all 3 Dragonites and were able to just sweep them, getting us a first try win at Lance. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Hard Gold has all of Kanto in the post-game, including 8 gym battles and a secret final boss fight with Red. 7 of those 8 gym battles are super easy since they're weaker than the Elite Four, so we're gonna skip ahead to the next real challenge, Blue. Now, do I actually think that I can beat Blue? I don't know. I think we might need to be level 100 just to stand a chance, but we very obviously can't beat Red. Still, if we beat Blue, then I'll at least go try Red so we can see what happens. That's always fun. Will we even beat Pikachu? No, probably not. But who knows, maybe. Well, the Blue fight instantly poses a problem. Exeggutor uses Trick Room, giving his team the speed advantage. We can build up 3 nasty plots and take him out thanks to his Leaf Storm missing, but the Rhydon uses the Trick Room to hit Mega Horn to one-shot us before we can one-shot him. Considering we only even got that far because a Leaf Storm missed, I think I need to change my strategy. Maybe holding Leftovers instead of a Twisted Spoon can keep us healthy enough to win. Oh, well this was insanely easy. I used Leftovers to stay a bit healthier, used an extra nasty plot so that the Trick Room would wear off as soon as Rhydon came out, a Leaf Storm still missed, and then we outsped and swept literally his entire team with Psychic. I mean, just because it was easy doesn't mean the Red fight will be. I still figure we don't stand a chance in there. So I get to Red at level 87 and instantly get outsped and one-shot by Volt Tackle. I mean, I knew it would go badly, but I didn't think I'd literally get one-shot out the gate. Let me try again at level 100 and see what happens. So I come back at level 100, and still instantly get outsped and one-shot with 1 Volt Tackle. Guys, I think it's safe to say I'm not beating Red. Well, that was a fun one. Yeah, some of the fights were a bit quick thanks to Nasty Plot, but I'll take sweeps over losses any day. And yeah, we lost pretty badly against Red, but at least it was funny. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with a real weird one. Pokemon Platinum with only future Fairy types. As in Pokemon that become Fairy type later, but are not Fairy type yet. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time. Guys, fun news. You know how I've been talking for, I don't know, months about how I want to start streaming little bits of these challenges on my YouTube channel? I finally got a session of that in. It was a fun time, with a lot of weird technical problems. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Real quick, I just want to shout out all the $50 supporters on the YouTube members page as well as the Patreon. So big shout outs to Jacob Busby, Javid Kusro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Luis, Alessandra Hedgeblog, Joel Mann, Dark Soul, Young Smoky VP, Cal Anderson, and Crystal Sunrise. Thank you so much for your continued support. So if you go to my live section on the YouTube channel that you're on right now, then you will see the live version of the Pokemon Challenge, including the whole pre-stream type thing. Basically what happened is I did what I said I was gonna do. I streamed a session of me just recording it's next week's run, basically. So if you're watching this on the YouTube channel the day it comes out, and you're not already like a patron member or whatever who can see it early, then you can actually see a little chunk of that run and what it looks like when I'm recording these Pokemon challenges. It's not the best spectator sport because, you know, sometimes I'm like, okay, I gotta write some script, and then I'm just quiet for like a minute as I write down a little bit, or I gotta like watch something back, you know. But it was a fun time hanging out with you guys. So here's the weird technical problem. I had tested this days ahead of time because I wanted to make sure I was prepared for it. So what I was gonna do is I open 2 different copies of OBS, which is the software I use to record the challenges. One of them was just my usual setup for how I always record DS games, and then the other one was in my streaming profile thing, where it was going to stream a slightly modified version of it, where it has the chat on screen, it has the on-screen alerts and stuff like that, right? And I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. I can stream on that one, and then I can record on the other one. That way the recordings come out the exact same they always do, but I can also stream it. And everything seemed to display perfectly fine. And then the day comes, and I hit the go live button to go streaming, and it instantly crashes the software. The only thing I didn't test in that whole testing process was the actual go live button, because everything else worked, including the recording buttons. Turns out telling it to go live made it crash instantly, but it still made the live page go up. So people piled into the chat and were like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this. And it's just like a black screen because it instantly crashed the software. So it took me like 10 minutes to fix that. In the end, I just had to make a streaming version of the recording screen, if that makes sense, which was really annoying. So it wasn't the best quality stream I've ever done. It was just some jury-rigged thing I had to throw together. So I got it working, though. It was still a fun time. I went for like a little under 2 hours, I think. I would have gone a little longer if not for having to fix those technical issues. Then I was getting pretty sore. Shoulders, neck, you know how it is. It was a fun time, though. Got to catch a bunch of Pokemon, got to fight a few gyms and everything, got to hang out with you guys. And because I had to basically slap together a mix of my recording setup and my streaming setup, that chunk of the actual Pokemon challenge is going to have an on-screen chat room in the video. So I guess if you guys show up to when I do those live streams of bits of the challenges, your name in the chat is going to be on the challenge video when it goes up for those fights. So that's kind of cool. That was unintended. I wasn't planning on doing that. I wasn't planning on having that stuff be on screen, but I guess it is now because the solution I thought I had didn't work. Anyway, yeah, the fear I kept talking about in the previous few outros and everything of I don't want to stream like too many of these sessions because I know I'll be really unproductive. Yeah, that's true. I definitely didn't get nearly as much done in that period of time as I would if I was just quietly doing it myself, because as soon as I'm live, I'm in entertainer mode. You guys, some of you may not know because I'm mostly just known for Pokemon challenges nowadays, is I've done a lot of Let's Plays. I still love doing Let's Plays. I still love streaming. I've been streaming since before Twitch TV was around, which is a long time, and I have done literally over 6,000 Let's Play videos on this channel. You can watch them in the playlist section. I'm very proud of them. They're very fun. But as soon as you put me in a live commentary environment, that is where I'm most comfortable. I am still way better at live commentary stuff than I am scripted stuff. And so as soon as I start streaming and everything, the game takes not exactly a back seat, more like a side seat. I'm still making progress in the game, but I'm also taking a lot of time to talk to you guys and have fun chatting with you guys, because that's like the best part of streaming, is talking to the chat and having fun with the chat. Is that not literally the best part about streaming? What I should really do is treat it more like when I'm doing a Let's Play, because there's no live chat when I'm doing a Let's Play, you know? It's me locally recording. Although a lot of my Let's Plays were with friends, I still did do like at least a couple thousand solo Let's Play videos, so it's not like I can't do that. I don't know, it's hard. I don't like to ignore the chat when the chat is there, you know? I have too much fun talking to you guys. Anyway, some of those Pokemon Challenge recording sessions might be on Twitch instead of on YouTube. I don't know. Sometimes I like to stream on Twitch, sometimes I like to stream on YouTube. I don't like to keep all my eggs in one basket. You never know what's going to happen to one platform or the other, you know? And also, I don't like to stream to both at the same time. It's just a better viewer experience for you guys if there's one chat room, you know? So that when you're talking to other people in the chat, you're not just talking to one group or the other group, you're talking to everybody. Yeah, it costs me some viewers, obviously. I would have more viewers and more visibility if I was streaming on both at the same time, but I don't know, I tend to side with making the viewer experience better rather than making my wallet better when I can choose it. You know what I mean? I don't know, I'm old school YouTube like that. Anyway, I'm rambling way too much. I have not eaten yet, and it's 2 p.m., and I need to rush to get this whole thing edited so that I can get it up for you guys early on Patreon and all that stuff. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.